Hello everyone! The third episode of Beast Morphers has come and gone, and this time there's not a lot of correlation between it and its Japanese counterpart, Tokume Sentai Gobusters. Is this good or bad? Let's find out as we perform a transformation sequence. We come to our first true filler episode for Beast Morphers, End of the Road. It's a Zoey-centric episode, which makes me happy as she continues being my favorite of the Rangers. The plot of this episode revolves around Zoey trying to get Devon's dad, the mayor, to adopt her idea of Morphex-powered bicycles so that he won't bulldoze an area of the forest to make a new road to alleviate traffic in the city. I'm not generally a big fan of forced environmental themes in children's programming, but it felt very natural here. We know from the first episode that Zoey's big ambition is to find ways to use the Morphex to solve big problems and make the world a better place. Zoey actually does manage to make a deal with the mayor to promote the X-Bikes and gets help from her friends to try and get interest for them. In the end, she gets the mayor to agree to the X-Bike, and he even rides one instead of taking his limo. It's an idealistic and unrealistic view of the world, but it's a good lesson for kids to be shown that with effort, hope, and work, you can change the world. We learn that Zoey's mother's the news reporter that we saw in Beasts Unleashed, and she is super supportive of Zoey, partially explaining why Zoey is so optimistic and has so much confidence. One of the things that can make the original MMPR difficult to watch is that the world feels so small. These are teenagers, but they never talk about their families outside of the episode where Rita kidnaps their parents, making me wonder what the point of having secret identities is. It's one of the reasons why the Go-Go Power Rangers comic is so much fun to read. They actually do interesting things with the concept of teenage superheroes. All of the Beast Morpher Rangers having a defined relationship with a parent just makes the world feel a bit more real, and I think it will be easier for kids to relate to these characters when parents are so much more involved in their lives. This episode also has some great character moments. I mentioned in my review of Beasts Unleashed that I thought Zoey's central conflict would be with Nate. I was completely wrong. Nate is in full support of Zoey's ideas and even takes time out of his day to help her invent and improve the X-Bikes. There's a great moment when Nate talks to Zoey about how much he wanted a brother and how he barely sees his parents because they work overseas. The reason he's so eager to help Zoey is because he views the Rangers as a family. It's a bit cheesy, but it works well for something like Power Rangers. It'll be interesting if Nate's parents ever do actually show up in the show. Even Devon and Ravi got some good character moments, like this one.
There you go. You're a creepy little dude, but I'm gonna save you anyway.
Just the way that Rory D. Travis delivers that line makes me smile. Roxy and Blaze try to steal the Morphex from Zoey's bikes to give to Evox, and it's nice to see Roxy more active in this episode since she didn't do anything in last week's episode. The villains are still not doing it for me. It's fun to watch Roxy and Blaze interact with the Beast Morpher Rangers, but Evox doesn't do anything this episode, and as the show goes on, I continue to care less and less about him. I hope in future episodes there is a relationship or dynamic established between him and his avatars. Enter and Escape were fun characters in Gobusters, not just because they had different personalities and styles, but they also had their own unique dynamic with Messiah. Escape called him Papa and lived to please and indulge him, while Enter was constantly frustrated with Messiah's childish nature. I don't need much, but just some kind of relationship or dynamic with Evox and his underlings would instantly make me care more about him. Fortunately, the character moments with our central cast more than make up for the bland main villain. An interesting thing to note is the director of this episode, Oliver Driver. Like all of the other primary staff of this show, he worked on Ninja Steel. 10 episodes to be precise. He was also the voice of Genji in Mystic Force and played the Bat Ranger or Master Swoop in Jungle Fury. The action sequences are pretty much entirely original footage, with the Zord fight I'm pretty sure being the only Japanese footage used in this episode. I hope to see Oliver Driver direct more episodes because the action sequences are spot on. When the Rangers first get on the X-Bikes, I internally groaned, but that reaction quickly changed as the sequence progressed. It was actually really well done and felt grounded. The monster for this episode is the Needleroid from episode 3 of Gobusters. This time, there really is no parallel in story and themes between the Beast Morphers and Gobuster episodes. In the Gobuster episode, Enter creates a monster in a hospital to infect humans with a virus which causes them pain in order to appease Messiah. The central conflict is that Yoko feels that Hiromu belittles her. This is made worse when Hiromu blatantly states that because he's 20 and she's 16, Yoko is a child and he's an adult. Yoko realizes that Hiromu still sees her as that 3-year-old girl he comforted and made a promise to 13 years ago. She forces Hiromu to recognize that she has grown up and isn't that girl anymore. As a result, Yoko gets a bit better at communicating her feelings to Hiromu, which helps them to work better together as a team. Outside of the mecha battle and monster, no elements of this episode were incorporated into Beast Morphers. And honestly, that's a good thing. When watching a series of Power Rangers, I do want Sentai elements to be used, but the show is at its best when it takes Sentai concepts and does something completely original with them. RPM is considered by a lot of fans, me included, as one of the strongest seasons, and part of that is the stark departure from Go-Onger. Samurai, on the other hand, is only interesting to watch if you know nothing of Sentai and have never watched Shinkanger. There are episodes with scenes almost taken shot for shot from Shinkanger, and it just makes everything feel lazy and bland. While this episode isn't necessarily the most crucial to the series' plot, it's done more to make me look forward to new episodes than last week's Evox's Revenge. That's all for now. Take care of the Earth, believe in yourself, and as always, may the power protect you.